Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at actual in-game footage of the Waffen E100. You're going to see what this tank is able to do to its opponents and why this is going to be an absolutely stupid tank. Now, the Waffen E100 has two different guns. You have a 300 Alpha gun, which has 5 shells, and we also have a 570 alpha gun with 3 shells. Both clips deal about 1700 damage on average, and both take about the same time to dump the clips. The difference is one has more shells with better accuracy, and one has less shells with more alpha. Now, we are here taking a look at the higher alpha gun. What I can tell you is that the higher alpha gun is definitely the way to go, just because of the fact, look at that alpha, 527, 461 into that E50M. Just like that, in a matter of, what, like 2 seconds, we saw a full health E50M get brought down to 912. That is absolutely insane. Now, obviously, this vehicle is going to feature the downside of a very long reload, just about 30 seconds. But the fact that with 3 penning shells on that E51, that tank was down to 370 health. That's what a normal clip in this vehicle is able to do. So we can see here the side of a 57 Heavy. Now, unfortunately, this player is not a very good shot and aims low, missing the side of the 57, but after actually taking a second aim in, deals 580 on the first shot and flings the second one right into the turret. So we're up to 2,574 damage so far in this battle. Oh, there we go. We got a concept. 581 and, yep, 443. Yo, guys, this tank looks very good for the game. Oh, and there you go, a final shell into the enemy Renat as well. We only got a couple tanks left on the enemy team. We got a Foch. Not sure why this player didn't just load gold and shoot the upper plate, but there you go. 535 into the Foch. Are we going to get anything into the 183? Doesn't look like it, but doesn't really matter either. As we can see, this replay already puts the Waffenträger Alpha 100 up to 4,700 damage and a finishing shell into that 183. 5,243 damage. This is what we can expect from the Waffenträger Alpha E100 and why this is going to be one of the dumbest tanks in the game. Now, I do not know when this vehicle is going to be released into Blitz. What people are guessing is that the garage counter in-game is going to be the countdown for when the vehicle gets released, which is technically possible, but obviously I have absolutely no clue what's going to happen. What I do know is that this is not a good vehicle for the game. If we go over to the Waffenträger F1, we can see that, I mean, the thing doesn't have bad DPM. I'm going to be running calibrated shells, enhanced gun lane drive, refined gun, and then over on this area, improved assembly, toolbox, engine accelerator, and consumable delivery system. Now, one thing I want to mention, I don't think this tank is going to be overpowered. What does the term overpowered means? It means it is performing better than other tanks around it, right? I don't think this is going to be an overperformer in its capabilities. But what I do think is that this is going to be an entirely toxic tank. We can take a look at its armor, and it's actually rather HE resistance. This here is what about 75 to 80 mils of HE pen looks like. There are 3 weak spots. We have the top, which is 11 millimeters thick. We have these 2 cutouts here, which are about 50 millimeters. It continues over to here, and then the final cutout is this spot over here. These are the weaknesses. But if you miss those spots, you're only going to deal like 300 to 200 damage firing HE at the turret when you'd be much better off firing AP. But the tank is huge. Like, it looks big, and that's because it is. This is an E100 hull it's mounted on. We can even see it has E100 upper plate armor. Like, this thing is mounted on an E100 hull, which means that, yeah, the thing's freaking huge, and it's going to be very hard to hide it. The camouflage values are not very good, as we can see if we take a look all the way at the bottom here. Its camo values are pretty terrible. It's one of the worst ranked camo values, right up there next to a Jagdpanzer and a 183. The tank is basically one of the largest vehicles in the game, as we can see. Not as big as a Jag, but thing is still absolutely huge, which, again, like, a lot of problems here. But it does have a decent amount of hit points at 1,924, and, again, the thing is insane in its dumping potential. This vehicle can deal a whopping 1,710 damage in 5 seconds. Like, That is ridiculous. 5 seconds. Your intro clip with shell reload boost goes to 2.47 seconds. So it's a little mind-boggling to at least me personally on how Wargaming thinks that this is a good idea. Now, to be entirely honest, while a lot of people are obviously very scared of this tank, something I should mention is that we basically have a free version of it already in the game, and that is the 4005. The 4005 is honestly still going to be better than the Waffenträger Alpha E100 for most situations. Why? Well, first of all, the 4005 does feature Spall Liner, the Waffenträger does not, which means that while the armor on the Waffle is a little bit more reliable on the hull, the sheer size of the tank and the fact that everything's going to be shooting at you means that, unironically, I think the 4005 is going to survive a lot more against the high explosive barrage because HE's not going to do much to the tank. You know, you have that Spall Liner. That's actually quite nice. Not only that, but the 4005 features way more damage per minute and accuracy. We can see that the damage per minute of the 4005 is 3,300, while the DPM on the Waffen F1 is around 2,800. So if you're running shell reload boost on this tank, you can make it 3,600 DPM. The 4005 is also faster, features more gun depression over the front with 10 degrees all over the sides and the front. And that's all very, very solid stuff. It's, as I mentioned, faster. It also features better camouflage values at 24% while sitting still and 15% while moving, where the Waffen F1 is 6% while still. It is literally way worse. 4 times worse on camo. It is 3% camo while moving versus how much camo... Oh, I didn't mean to click on YouTube Music. How much camo did I say the 4005 was while moving? It's like 15%. In all real-world situations, I think the 4005 is going to be just as good. You know, in fact, I think it'll be better. The 4005 is faster. Everything about the 4005 on paper is better. Even the accuracy, as I mentioned. The gun on the Waffen F1 is incredibly derpy, but it doesn't take away from the fact that we are now going to have 2 vehicles available in Tier 10 that are going to have the opportunity to take over 1,600 to 1,700 hit points off of your vehicle in a matter of 5 seconds. That is absolutely ridiculous, and I highly disagree with the idea of it. You can let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I just don't think it's a good idea to bring something into the game like this. Maybe a 2-shot with 640 alpha would be more balanced. It would still be 1,280 damage, but at least it wouldn't be this mind-boggling, you know, 1,700 damage. And by the way, I didn't even mention the high explosive. The Waffen F1 can deal a ridiculous 870 damage with HE. That is 1,210 damage in a clip. If you pen just 2 shells with HE, you can basically kill any medium like a Leopard 1 or a Bosch-Chatillon. Even with Spall Liner activated, you're still dealing enough damage with this tank to one-clip a Waffle, a Grill, or really anything. Like, that's ridiculous. But I don't think it's going to be as good as a 4005. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!